Hello, everybody. I'm Don Counts, and welcome into Fayetteville Public Utilities. I have our CEO, General Manager Britt Dye, with us. Britt, we've had a busy past few days. It's been very cold, and we've been lucky here in Lincoln County.
Yeah, we have been very lucky and blessed as well, and been really busy. But we're always busy, and we always try to be prepared.
One thing about the preparation, we have been warned about this bitter cold, possibility of ice and snow, and the weathermen were pretty much on target. We did have some ice in our system, but more up toward the north and west.
That's correct. We had some ice in the west part of Lincoln County. I'm just glad it didn't accumulate more than what it did. But, if it hadn't been for that warm front that pushed up from the south, we'd have been in the same shape as all these other local power companies are experiencing today.
One thing that we talk about every time we have these things is the tree program, trying to keep the trees out. And we talk about the ash trees, and I guess that program has helped us out in the situation.
It has, and, the more the customers that give us permission to come in there and cut, to get the right-of-way cleaned out a lot wider than what we've been cutting is paid off. Our aggressive tree trimming program has been in effect now for the last few years, and it's getting better all the time. The ash trees has caused us quite a bit of problems as well. But, if the customers will let us cut when we need to come in there and get cut, we just don't want to go in there and say, well, we got to cut it because we got the right to cut it with the easements. If you give us permission, and we'll clean up the area before we leave to be sure it's back the way it was.
Yep, and that'll help us out in situations like ice storms and wind storms and high winds and tornadoes and everything else. We have sent a crew to Franklin, Tennessee. You might talk about how that came about and what the process was on that.
Well, we work with the statewide. We go through TECA, which is Tennessee Electric Cooperative Association, and there's still several thousands of people without power, and most of them are in the state of Tennessee. And we try to help all of our neighboring co-ops, just like if we had the same kind of problems, they'll be down here helping us. So don't never miss out on the opportunity to help somebody, because one of these days we're going to need it. We've just been lucky, very, very lucky, during this storm. But you always got to depend on each other.
When we talk, a lot of times we talk about electric. Today, the grid, you keep an eye on what it looks like at the SCADA. This today was our peak so far.
It's peak so far, 116 megawatts, and it's supposed to get colder again tonight. Toward the weekend, it's supposed to get back down to single digits again, and next week we're supposed to have some more cold weather. I don't know if it's going to be as cold as it has been this week, but it's still going to be cold. It's going to be a few days. I'm going to say somewhere around February the 6th or 7th, maybe. The temperature will break. Maybe we can get above 40 degrees.
Okay. One thing, too, is you've had meeting after meeting with TVA, TECA, Tennessee Valley Authority, and the Tennessee Electric Cooperative Association. Let's start with TVA. They've been preparing for this cold weather and to make sure that they have enough generation to handle the electric demand.
That's correct, and we have that awareness meeting. Matter of fact, I got another call here today at 1 o'clock with TVA again. We stay on the line with TVA and communications as far as what's going on with TVA, and they have done an excellent job of being prepared for this storm. Most time they do an excellent job as well, but it makes you feel good when they feel really good, and especially with the loads that's been coming on the system, and so far that everything's been remaining stable and reliable.
We here at FPU get a lot of what we call bad information out there. Well, TVA did too. Some people were talking about the possible of rolling power outages, which was really false information.
And that is correct. It was false information. It gets people excited that, I hope we're not going to have rolling blackouts. We got some calls on that. But if it doesn't come directly from TVA or FPU or any other local power company, you cannot believe it.
A lot of times we in our own little world see what we have around us, but the areas north and west of us were hit very, very hard. You saw Governor Lee on the big news stations yesterday, and and Middle Tennessee and Nashville area for sure was hit extremely hard.
Tennessee is the hardest hit in the nation of this ice storm. So you can only imagine, and that goes from Texas all the way up to the New England states, and Tennessee was the worst hit, with the most customers out, and still got several hundred customers, 1,000 customers out as well. So, we're just trying to get enough help. There's crews coming in from everywhere. You got them from Canada, you got them from Dakotas, everywhere, that's coming in trying to help get this power restored.
Yeah, it's very important because the elderly and a lot of people who don't have any kind of backup whatsoever, when you're out for hours on hours and possibly days, it begins to start to hurt.
It does. And, if you don't have any type of backup, it makes it really tough on all the customers. We've experienced that. We know what it's like to have the whole county without power. And, it gets long. 9 days, 2 weeks is a long time to be without power.
Yeah. One thing that we've been pushing and emphasizing, even though we didn't have a whole lot of problem here, was the correct use of generators. You've dealt with that before, and you know how dangerous that can be, not only for the homeowner, but also for our linemen.
Right. And if you don't know, what to do with a backup generator or have questions, please call us and we'll give you all the help that we can. But, you got other things to think about besides just the power. You have the water issues, you got the wastewater issues, the nursing homes. So it don't just stop with the power being out. There's a lot more to it, when you plan of how you're going to get things back on if it comes to this, to know exactly the steps that you're going to have to take to be sure that everybody's up and running.
Seemed like everybody I know bought a generator, and I'd say the majority of them don't have a clue what's involved in the correct hookup.
That is correct. If you don't break the tie between the customer's home and the distribution system, which it don't take a lot for it to feedback on the system, because it'll come back through your breakers. If you don't have them cut off and isolated where it can't get back to the transformer, because when it goes back through the transformer, it'll go from the low voltage and it'll step up the voltage on the high side, which can easily put 7,200 volts as well as 14.4.
Very concerning. And so if you have a generator, which a lot of people did buy them, make sure you know how to hook them up correctly and get them isolated from the system. And also one thing else is we see people have them in their garages and things like that, and then you have a carbon monoxide problem.
That's right. You got to have it all ventilated, or if you don't, you're going to have another problem there within your own home. So just be careful, follow the steps, know what they are and what you got to do. And like I said, we'd be glad to help in any way we can.
You mentioned about the cold weather that's not only been here and going to stay around for a while. That's going to lead to higher bills and for all of us, not just a few. But there's all kind of things we can do to kind of help you out. But it's just notorious this time of year. You're going to have a high bill.
You're going to have a high bill. Folks need to stay warm. You need to do what you got to do. If you have problems or need help, call us. Don't wait till the last minute when your bill's due and you know that you're not going to be able to pay or whatever, but call us. Let's make arrangements. Let's get it all out there to be sure that we're taking care of our customers any way that we can to help get taken care of.
We have some things we can do to help. One is the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program we call LIHEAP. They may be able to help you with your home energy cost through a direct payment to Fayetteville Public Utilities. You can learn more by calling South Central Human Resource Agency at 433-7182 or by visiting schra.us. So that's one way. We have Project Help, which has been around for a long time. That's through the Good Samaritan Association. Their number is 433-0260, and they're in the Ralph Hastings building. And that's over at 208 Davison Street West. Their hours are Monday through Wednesday from 9 until noon. 9 until noon, okay? So they're not there a long period of time. Budget billing is another way you can kind of levelize your billing out. That's been around for a while, and you can call FPU for more information on that and making payment for arrangements, as Britt talked about, at 433-1522. So anyway, we hope people try to conserve a little bit, but also you really want to stay warm too. It keeps you healthy.
Yeah, you need to stay warm.
Yep. Solar, and I hear you talking about this a whole lot. And generator installation, we talked about that already. But solar in general, if somebody's interested in doing solar, it would really be in their best interest to contact us first, because we could help guide you down the right road.
Right. There's special requirements, to do a solar installation, and there's a lot of different rules that maintain all that. And our key accounts person can help out on that as well. So when you got questions and fix to do a solar installation, please call. We've had trouble with people that's installing solar. It's not done correctly, and we end up having to disconnect and all those kinds of things. But if you just call us first, we'll guide you through the steps along with TVA of what is required to give you a hand, and that way you're not wasting money and making sure it's done correctly the first time.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the roads in the town. We've talked about the water utility construction that's been going on across our city. Where are we at now? We hadn't talked about that in a few days.
Well, right now we're not working.
Okay.
I mean, as far as the contractors,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to be in at all this week because the way that the weather is. I know a lot of the contractors where they live, they're out of power up in the Kentucky area, so they have no power. So, we'll probably crank back up next week. I got to get back in touch with the contractor and get another plan put together so we can let the public know, what's going to be going on, the areas we're going to be working in. Got a lot of work to do and a lot of improvements, and it is showing as far as our pressure and flow. We're really, really proud of that. I know it's been an inconvenience to our customers, but, anytime you start making improvements, it's going to tear up a lot of different things.
Yeah. One thing too is we talked this morning on the radio about with the freezing temperatures, a lot of people are dripping water, which they need to keep their pipes from freezing, which therefore adds more use of water use. So you've got the water plant running 24 hours a day right now.
We're running the water plant. We're manning it 24 hours a day right now, and we will till this cold snap is over. Because when the temperature starts changing, the ground will start moving a little bit. Could cause us problems as far as pipe bursting as well. And our main goal right now is to keep our tanks full in case of something major happen that we won't be half tank loaded, I guess you can call it, but we're going to be full tanks. And that's the reason why we're manning the water plant at this time, to be sure that we are at full capacity in all of our main water tanks.
Another thing that you keep an eye on is the sewer side of the business. I mean, as long as the water's moving, usually it don't freeze, but you still have issues coming up in all facets of the utility.
Yeah, that we do. And, the wastewater, with all the rain that we had, it creates a little bit more inflow, so we had to man the plant during that time that was needing to be sure that all that was controlled as well, because we did have a lot of rain. I know I measured a little over 2.5 inches. That's a lot of water that came in the way that it did, but there's a lot more to it. We talk about power, but we got the natural gas side, the water side, the wastewater side, and the fiber business, of freezing up when it starts having connectors, when the fiber starts shrinking a little bit, when it gets really cold, and expanding when it heats up a little bit. Same thing we do on the power side. So it's not just all about the power, it's all about all services that we offer.
Well, you mentioned natural gas. I'm assuming it's at very high demands right now as well.
Yeah, that it is, and we got an eye on it too, and making sure what we want to do as far as bringing gas out of storage to some degree. So we had to make that decision as we push along with the cold weather.
It's a very important part of our utilities, including our fiber. You mentioned that too. With so many people home, kids out of school, I'm sure the internet use is very high, so it's kind of like water or kind of like electricity or kind of like gas. We got to have the infrastructure to bring it in here for people to be able to use it, and that's kind of hard to manage.
That's correct. Everything that we offer is an essential service, and that's the way we treat it 24/7, and that's the way we'll keep moving forward. I know that it's cold and it's hard, and we might not be able to get there as quick, but we will be there.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about some of the issues that we do have when we do have people. We really want people to move over. It's very important. We've definitely seen people not being very respectful of our utility workers when they're working alongside the road, but it's the law, and we ask people just to try to be patient with us.
It is the law, but respect the ones that's out there working. We got cones, we got signs, we got flaggers at times when it's supposed to be there, and people still don't pay attention. And I just don't want an employer or one of our contractors to get ran over or have a fatality on site once we got all the proper markings and flagging and cones set up, just because we have somebody come through who's not paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah, and very important. If anybody's on the side of the road, anything, you please just move over. Be careful, because we don't want to get anybody hurt. One thing we want to talk about is the Washington Youth Tour writing contest presentations are being held at all 3 of our local high schools. The contest is open to any high school junior. 3 local students will get the all-expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. We're looking forward to that. If you have any questions about that, you can call us here. Britt, we've been on the radio multiple times every day trying to keep the public informed about this winter storm, and also the roads and the water infrastructure project as well. And we'll continue to do that, and we appreciate both YTM and EKR and the Elk Valley Times for supporting us and helping us get the word out.
Yeah, they do us a good job, and I really appreciate that, along with the paper as well. And, we're going to try to keep everybody as informed as we can. It might not be every day of the week that we do that, but if there's something major or something fixing to come up that we know that we're going to have to do, we will inform the public of every step that we'll be taking to get that done.
And you can also look at all of our social media accounts and our website. We're keeping that up to date and trying to make sure everybody knows what's going on. And if you have any questions, of course, I know you tell people all the time, you're welcome to call here. We have a customer service email now. It's called customerservice@fpu-tn.com. That's an easy way to do. Plus, we have Smart Hub. We have Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and YouTube, which is what this is on. And you can see that. And it's also on our website, and it's also on our social media as well. So we're doing our best to let the public know what's going on. If they don't know, they just don't want to know.
Well, you say it better than I can. So.
They don't know that. It's better than if they don't know, they don't know, they don't know.
That's
but anyway,
exactly
we did that
right.
last time.
I always believe in that. If you don't know, you just don't know.
You just don't know. We got a lot of that too. And, the thing is, what we do see, and as TVA experienced, there's just so much misinformation out there. And we hope to try to be an official way of letting people know what's going on.
That is correct. And, I know it's aggravating, but just appreciate everything you got. And because there's a lot of people right now that don't have nothing.
That's true.
So keep those people in your thoughts and prayers as we go through this winter storm. And with our guys that's out there working, trying to help system get power back on. And it's always glad to be able to flip a switch, flush a commode, turn the water on, hook up the internet. We got all that today. And a lot of these folks right now do not have nothing.
That's true. So many things we take for granted, and when it's gone, it's gone. Let's talk a little bit real quick before we go. How often do you stay in touch with the guys outside of here, and you kind of keep an eye where they're located? I
talk to them early every morning and sometime during the day. It's just based on what their workload is. I don't want to hinder them from out there working, about worrying about me bothering them. I'm not going to do that. If they need me, they know how to call me. But other than that, I get an update at least twice a day. And, just where they're at and went to is totally different than what we have here. Because I talked to the guys yesterday, and when they turned off the interstate, it was like they were somewhere differently as far as the roads were full of ice, the trees were full of ice. And, it's like I said, we're proud to have what we got here, as it is today, instead of not over in the west part of Tennessee or the northeastern part of Tennessee.
Well, let's talk about how do they know where to go. Up here, they know where Elora is, Petersburg, and all the places. But up there, who's guiding them?
Well, you got so much technology out there now, GPS, maps, it's on the website. But the dispatchers of the utility that we're working for will call and give their address, give them direction, and they'll just head over to that address and get the lines back up, the service is reconnected. So then they'll call back in to get another ticket, and then they'll be working 16 hours a day. And because our group of linemen that we have, along with some other employees, they just want to work. That's what we're all trained to do. They do a great job. They're dedicated. But when it comes to getting people's power on or getting the water fixed, you can't ask for a better group of employees that are dedicated to get it done.
So the rule is 16 hours with 6 hours rest.
That is correct.
Yeah, we don't know how blessed we are. I don't know if I could do 16 hours, Britt.
Well, you know, you do what you have to. When that adrenaline gets to flowing, you do everything you need to get done. That's the main thing.
That's very good. I'm proud we have people out there to do that all over the state. And, Britt, we appreciate what you do. We're again, we've been blessed, but you never know. Someday we may need some help.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else before we go?
It's like I said earlier, you know, when this storm kicked in, we always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And a lot of times that plays out to be able to plan that way. But, you know, we put a lot of planning and getting prepared for about anything that we can think of when something like this happens. We don't wait till the last minute to prepare. We've been preparing for this storm once they started. It was going to be getting cold several weeks ago. So, but we always try to make more improvements to the system every day, whatever service it is, and aggressive tree trimming, and you can see it is paying off.
As our job is to let the public know what's going on, you have a job to keep the board members informed, local leaders informed, and you do that every day as well. So if they don't know, they just don't know. But one thing about it is we're doing all we can to make sure people know.
Absolutely. And if you got questions, call anytime. We'll be glad to answer your questions.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else before we go?
Just everybody needs to be safe during these cold temperatures. Take care of your neighbors.
All right. Keep an eye on it. And, again, we've been very lucky, but you never know. So if you have any problems, feel free to give us a call. We're here 24 hours a day. We're here when most people are closed, which was yesterday.
Yeah, just about it.
Yeah, we barely had a place to eat. I think you ate bologna yesterday.
Yep, I did.
So
that's okay, though.
That's all right. That's all right. We're proud to be here, and we're proud to be able to serve our community. And it's good we've got a good group of employees to be here to support our utility.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much. We got our CEO, General Manager Britt Dye, with us, and as we do every month, and had a lot going on today. And we appreciate you watching here on Fayetteville Public Utilities.